Hey. Hey, bud. Hey, over here. Hi. I'm a fish.
Oh, hey, Sebastian, the talking fish I've always had. What's up?
Oh, I was just checking up on you. You look kinda gray behind the gills.
What? Yeah, it's fine. It's just been a rough couple of days, years, decades. Look, I'm just really bummed that my favorite show, Sirens, isn't getting renewed for a third season. I mean, they promised it was going to come back in 2014, and then it got canceled, and I haven't heard a wink since.
Wow, I didn't know you liked that show.
I mean, yeah, I know it was kind of a strange concept, but I think it had a really unique way of subverting tropes and taking an introspection into society versus man, a philosophical analysis folded over a very sleek narrative that challenged your spirit and your mind.
You liked it for the sex, didn't you?
I could have had fish titties, but those cowards robbed me!
Well, hey, I happen to know a mermaid show that actually did get 3 seasons. It's called H2O, Just Add Water.
Really? Oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Huh, it's on Netflix too. Can't believe I've never heard of this show before. Described as mermaids, Australian, and gal pals. Huh. Well, I guess it's worth taking a look, maybe. Just one question, though. The mermaids, are they perchance...
Yes, the mermaids are hot.
Yes!
H2O Just Add Water, an Australian-created teen drama series that ran from 2006 to 2009. The story follows a group of 3 teenage girls who discover they have the power to transform into mermaids whenever they touch water. And the series follows them as they try to live their secret double life while also balancing being a teenager. Originally, H2O was only supposed to have 2 seasons and 52 episodes, but due to popular demand, a 3rd season was created. And I cannot stress how unlikely and rare this actually is, especially for Australian TV. Most shows made in the Down Under usually don't last more than 2 seasons. Now, on the surface, this show doesn't really scream anything particularly unique. It's certainly not the first double-life teenage girl show with a twist we've ever seen. But if we take a closer look, we can see that H2O has an 89% audience approval score. 89%? For context, that's 1% better than The Shawshank, and only 2% less than Blade Runner. What? What made it so popular? What has given it such a dedicated fan base? And how is it possible that I've never heard about this show before? Why isn't anybody talking about it? In fact, Sebastian, how did you hear about this show? I'm a fish.
Well, alright then. Let's grab our snorkels and take this down season by season to see whether H2O Just Add Water should sink or swim. So without further ado, let's get started. So, we begin our deep dive into season 1 with the very first episode, Metamorphosis.
Awesome, that's 0.2 under my personal best. Emma, you were really motoring that. I'll do better than that tomorrow. Give me 2 weeks and I'll be ready for regionals. So cool.
This is Emma, a young yet driven Australian teen with big dreams of becoming a pro swimming champ. This is her best friend Cleo, the dumb one. Okay, to be fair to some of the Cleo stans out there, yes, she does get better as the season goes along, but there's no denying that in this first episode, she's just plain dumb. Case in point.
Hey, Cleo! Yes, that Cleo. I'm in some trouble here. Can you help?
I don't think so.
Come on. Please. My Zodiac won't go, and all I need you to do is just pass me the tools. Took me a while to realise that someone stole my spark plug.
So, does it work without one?
Nah. No spark plug. No spark. I was getting sick of that thing anyway.
Why me?
Because you're here, Cleo. My dad'll buy me another boat anyway.
Wow, what a douche. Well, anyway, Cleo doesn't have to worry for very long as she is soon rescued by a mysterious girl. And the third member of our trio, Ricky.
Is this supposed to be some sort of rescue?
Wow, Cleo, do you critique all of the people who give you free rescues like this? I mean, what would happen if I was this judgmental of people trying to give me help? My heart. My God, this guy's having a heart attack. Quick, someone call the EMTs. Really? This is what you call a rescue? What? God, you really suck at this. And look at what you're wearing. You're really gonna call the EMTs wearing that? Dude, who cares what I'm wearing? You're dying! You know what? If you're gonna have that kind of attitude, I don't even know why you bother trying to save me. Yeah, I'm starting to feel the same way. So the three become fast friends, they pick up Emma from the shore, and decide to go out on an adventure in their stolen dinghy.
Are we chilled out yet?
So, we're floating. It's not like we're sinking.
Not yet.
I think we're out of fuel. Feel like paddling to that island?
Mako Island? Forget it. No one goes there. It's surrounded by sharks. And reefs. And mangroves.
Oh, come on, Cleo. You live in Australia. Those three things don't even make the top 20 of stuff that wants to kill you. So Emma, Cleo, and Ricky, without much more of a choice, decide to paddle to Mako Island, a place so ominous not even the Scooby Gang would investigate it. But once they get to shore, they decide to look around the jungle to see if they can find help and try to stay out of trouble as best they can. It goes about as well as you'd expect.
It's too slippery. There's got to be another way.
Oh boy. Well, if there was any doubt that Cleo was the dumb one before, I think this just about cinches it.
I've got to go down and get her.
Are you crazy? It doesn't make sense if you...
Are you okay? My leg hurts a little. It's probably just sprained. What are you doing here?
Well, you came down.
You know what? I was wrong. Cleo isn't the dumb one. They all are.
Wow. This is like the cone of a volcano.
It's, not going to erupt, is it?
No need to worry, Cleo. That doesn't happen till season 3.
I'm sorry, what was that, Sebastian?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. So anyway, Emma finds out that this pool connects to the sea and is probably their only exit out. But Ricky and Emma have trouble getting Cleo into the water as she reveals a dark secret.
I was right. It's about a 20-second swim to the reef outside. Straight through, plenty of room, we can all fit. Through there. No way.
Go on, Cleo. There's no other way out. You can do it.
I can't do it. And besides, I can't swim.
Plot twist? More importantly, what was with that zoom in? Was this supposed to be a dramatic scene? I mean, I hate to tell you this, H2O, but just because you add a zoom to a shot doesn't automatically make it dramatic.
I mean, how ridiculous would it be if I just added some zoom effects to everyday mundane tasks? Like, I really like peanut butter on my toast. Did I remember to get the mail? I'm a fish. But anyway, Cleo finally gets over her fears. The girls jump into the pool just as the moon is starting to pass overhead. And that's when the real magic begins.
Wow.
Wait, that's it? Really? I mean, after all of that, all you can really say is wow? Are you even gonna talk about it? No, you're just gonna leave? Well, okay then. I guess they just swim away.
Well, that was pointless.
And look at that, that's Cleo swimming. And not just that, she's swimming 50 meters underwater through a cave at night. I mean, seriously, were you just lying before, or were you so dumb that you actually forgot you could swim? Sebastian, explain this to me. How does any of this make sense? I'm a fish. Well, you can't argue with that logic. So anyway, the girls return to their lives where everything is normal and nothing special ever happened to them again. So now the girls have discovered that after their magical journey to Mako, they have somehow acquired the power to become mermaids upon contact with water, only becoming human again when they dry. And that really raises a lot of questions for both the characters and the audience alike. Like, what happens if they have to go to the bathroom and there's a little bit of splash, and they transform in the middle of taking a number 2? Do they just have to hold it until they dry out? Is there an invisible flap somewhere? What's the answer, show? What?
So cool.
Well, to find some of these answers, Emma and Ricky join forces, go back to the beach, and try to discover what they can do through experimenting.
I'm not so sure about this.
It's alright. I am.
That gives me no confidence whatsoever.
Okay, come here for a minute. Now, audience, I know what you're thinking. And yes, you're not the only ones that have picked up on this. Research I've actually done on this show, I've found that quite a large part of the fan base for H2O has read it as being a little more than gay. The fact that this show has a bunch of bikini-clad, athletic, gorgeous Australian women running around constantly getting wet might have also drummed up quite a bit of interest for some people. Lesbians. Now, in all honesty, this is a show from the early 2000s, and I'm highly skeptical that they would have purposely put in any kind of gay subtext. But if I'm being really honest, I can kind of see where the LGBT is coming from. There are some moments in this show that just defy any kind of straight answers. Straight answer. I mean, just take a look at these scenes right here and forget for a moment that they're mermaids and listen to what they say.
So we climb out of the water and everything's back to normal when we're dry. Like nothing ever happened.
But it did. Oh, it's gonna be the best experience of my life. I mean, are there even words for that?
I don't think so.
She's a lesbian. Yay.
Okay, I'm officially curious. What do you want to show me?
Hey, you guys!
Are you naked again?
Not that there's anything wrong with that!
No, not at all.
I am so sorry.
You okay in there? It's not your fault you got wet.
Oh my.
So while Emma and Ricky are getting wet, Cleo decides to go visit her childhood friend and do some research on mermaids.
Lewis, what are you doing?
Oh, well, you asked, so I thought I'd do some research.
That's really nice, Lewis. It's just you didn't need to do that.
No, but I've got way too much time on my hands. Hey, look, I found this really cool stuff. Mermaid myths have been around for at least 3,000 years.
And people really believed in that stuff?
Yeah, apparently. Sometimes they were good omens, sometimes they brought trouble with them.
What kind of trouble? Oh no.
Just ignore it.
Let's go back.
Watch out! Whoa!
Nervous?
Oh, and now we gotta talk about this asshole. Yeah, you might remember Zane from the beginning of the show, and if you thought he was a jerk then, oh man, that was just a preview to his level of dickishness.
My father didn't appreciate having the water police knock on his door.
Well, you shouldn't have told me to keep the Zodiac.
I don't like people making me look bad, Cleo. Especially chicks like you.
In front of your dad, you mean, Zane? Sounds like you're scared of him.
You think you're better than me, Lewis? Is that it?
Almost everyone's better than you. Live with it.
Tough guy. Got yourself a protector, have you, Cleo? You and whose army?
God, I hate him so much. I wish there was just a way we could, like, I don't know, wash him away so we wouldn't have to deal with all his douchey behavior and finally... Yeah, I think that will do the trick. Well done, Cleo. Well done.
And it grows even more. Where's the extra water coming from?
Oh, man. I love how even the show acknowledges that that doesn't make any sense. Yes, so finally the girls discover that besides getting extra tails, their magical journey to Mako has also given them powers over water. Like Cleo, who can control and manipulate liquids. Emma, who has the power over frost. And the ability to avoid Marvel copyright suits. And later, Ricky discovers she has the power over heat. And the ability to boil water until it evaporates. So that was the pilot of H2O. How was it? Was it any good? Well, let's break down the episode. So, in terms of a pilot, it does a very good job of setting up its premise, and that's just about all it does well. I mean, the dialogue is terrible, the writing is all over the place, and the actors are constantly struggling to get through every scene they're in. But luckily, the pilot is pretty divorced from the quality of the rest of the season, and it immediately starts to improve by the second episode. And the same could be said about character development. For a mermaid trio, their personalities actually match their powers pretty well. Emma, for instance, is the most cool-headed of the group, but can sometimes be very rigid. Cleo, ironically, has trouble at first going with the flow, but as her confidence builds, she becomes the most adaptable out of the entire group. As for Ricky, her powers and personality are pretty one-to-one. She can be very blunt, rash, and while she is sometimes hot-tempered, she can also be warm to those she cares for and wants to protect. Lewis fills out our four-man, or in this case mermaid, band as the resident smart guy and local human being. His aptitude for science adds some much-needed utility to the group, but he also fills the role of caregiver, protector, and adds a much-needed element of comedy, which I always enjoy. I also really like how the characters' romantic relationships develop. It's always a risk for characters in these roles and types of stories to fall prey to certain kinds of cliché, which H2O thankfully avoids.
Not to mention, it's a huge relief that when they both realize they like each other, they just come out and say it. No beating around the bush. It's just there in the open.
No, not everything can be explained scientifically. In fact, I'm not even going to try and figure it out anymore. I just want to go with the magic.
Works for me.
Oh, I think I could get to like this magic.
Get used to it, Lewis.
Yeah, that's pretty cute, you two. Just don't go making out underwater, otherwise they'll try to make a movie out of it.
And now we get to Zane. Boy, where do I even start with your dumbass? Okay, to be fair, like most things, he gets better as the season goes on. They finally figure out how to write his dialogue so he sounds like an actual human being. Yeah, he's a dick. But he's so self-assured in his dickishness that you kind of just love to hate him.
Cleo, can I have a word?
As if Cleo would waste her breath talking to you.
Well, she wastes it on you daily.
But worst of all, he may be one of the most interesting characters this season. Yeah, I know. I didn't believe it at first when I heard it either. But after rewatching the show, out of every character, he has the best arc.
I mean, this guy goes from an antagonist to a bully to a sympathetic kid to a tragically flawed character to a pretty good boyfriend, and by the end of the season, he becomes an 11th hour hero you never knew you needed. Man, this guy goes through more development than a Monopoly board.
The whole aspect of the mermaids and their secret double life and the characters along with them does bring a lot of intrigue and does make me interested in seeing more of the story, even if the dialogue and acting are struggling to keep up with those expectations. The show does progressively get better, and by the end of it, it's a pretty decent season as a whole, but again, it never leaves that awkward feeling we felt in the pilot. The acting is always just a little bit off, the dialogue is always a little bit weird. If I had to find one word to sum up the season, I'd say it's askew. And I think the writers know that.
What really works in the show's favor is that the creators never really take it that seriously. They're allowed to have fun with the concept, which takes us to some interesting places. And embracing all the things about the show that makes it weird gives it a sort of awkward charm. It doesn't take enough risks to be incredibly good, but it never does anything so terrible that it's bad. For the most part, the show plays it very safe. Characters end the season in the same place they usually left, and most things that happen in an episode tend to stay in that episode. It's charming enough to keep you coming back, which makes it pretty fun, but on the whole, it's still very average.
Well, now I'm even more confused. I still don't understand why the show is so popular. Maybe a look at the second season will tell us more. But first, I gotta hit the little fish's room.
Ah, crap! Ah, Sebastian! I tried to drop a deuce and now I'm stuck in the toilet. I need your help. Hello? Are you there? Sebastian? Sebastian!